Can you believe that it's already the third episode of Seedling Sunday?
Neither can I, because
It's kind of crazy.
just how big these babies have gotten.
Today I need to go through and water a few of them and then also move a couple of my pods from one aqua garden to another. The roots are getting too long for it to stay in the current aqua garden it's in with the other pods because they are fighting for root space. So we're going to go ahead and separate them, and that way they can all stay in an aqua garden and be nice and happy. So I don't have a set watering schedule for the seedlings yet. It all is completely dependent on how quickly they dry out. The room that they are in is very well ventilated, and I do have fans going on them often, not only to help make sure that they don't stay too wet, but also to make sure that they grow nice and big and healthy. I have began adding some fertilizer. I've only added it one time to the seedlings that are in dirt and one time to everything in the aqua gardens. I will be adding fertilizer more often to those in the aqua gardens than those in the dirt. Make sure that you are raising your grow lights along with your seedlings. They are tangled up real good in there. It's been really cool watching just how large and long the roots get when you grow your plants in aqua gardens and only in water. It's a beautiful tomato start. This is a beefsteak tomato with really nice roots. My pickling cucumber, who has amazing roots. And I'm gonna cover up these other little open holes. And for right now, I'm just gonna leave those three in that aqua garden. Before I went ahead and added my tomato start to this aqua garden, I had to add some more water to it. Because it was pretty low on water, I am going to go ahead and also add some fertilizer pretty soon, just to make sure that there are nutrients in the water for this tomato. Now, I have never grown anything in an aqua garden like this before, but there is a lady on TikTok who has, and I am following along with what she does and trying to make sure that mine do exactly what hers do. This is what this aqua garden looked like before I pulled these three plants out and potted them up in some soil. This is 2 beans and a garden squash of some kind, I can't exactly remember. And the roots were absolutely crazy. They were all tangled in the filter and the pump system, so I had to untangle them. And untangling these was quite difficult, but we didn't lose too many roots. I then moved on to my other aqua garden and began pulling out sprouts that I wanted to go ahead and pot up in some soil. My goal was never to keep all of these in the aqua gardens. I wanted to see what started best in only water, and then from there I'm going to keep in the ones that are the largest, which are mainly cucumbers and tomatoes. So I'm excited to see just how big they can get in the aqua garden. I have 5 left that I need to pot up and take care of. So I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. This is a butternut squash. Definitely not the happiest little squash I've seen, but nonetheless. And for all of my seedlings, I am using a Jumpstart mix that has a ton of good stuff in it, including compost and a bunch of other really, really good nutrients to make sure that they get the best chance that they can. Cute butternut squash. Next, we have a random garden bean. His roots look pretty good. See how quickly we can get him out of here. Nice. I'm gonna put him pretty far down in there. And because all of these are coming from aqua gardens and going into soil, I am going to keep them pretty wet for the next couple of days just to make sure that the plants basically don't, get shocked by how little water they have now compared to when they were in the aqua gardens. And there's our garden bean. Next, we have a small pumpkin. I'm really excited with some of these guys. This pumpkin is pretty small, but my other ones are pretty large, and I'm hoping that this year they actually produce some good-sized pumpkins for me. I am just trying to do the best I can with what I have, which isn't a lot. Small pumpkin, and we only have 2 left. This is gonna be a spaghetti squash. I'm gonna be so honest with you when I say that I did not expect the roots to be this full on these plants and did not think it through when it came to how I would get them out and move them into dirt. I spent quite a while untangling these roots as delicately as I could, trying not to break off any roots, and I know that that was impossible, so I just tried to break off as little as possible. I do not like the feeling of wet roots. I do cut out a lot of footage of me actually potting up the plants, so if that's something that you guys want to see more of, go ahead and let me know and I will cut out way less of it for you. There you have it. Nice spaghetti squash. And last but not least, we have a yellow summer squash with very long roots. This little guy came out surprisingly easy, and I was very happy about it and didn't lose any roots, which was awesome. While it looks pretty small now, once I get it in some really good soil and make sure it gets some good fertilizer, hopefully this guy will grow to be much larger. Our little yellow summer squash. So I'm still pretty new to this YouTube thing. I post primarily on TikTok, but I'm trying to get a lot better at making actual YouTube videos for you guys. If there's anything that you guys want to see more of or less of, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below, and I will definitely take your word and run with it. I wanted to leave this part in to show you the roots and to show you just how kind of difficult it was to get them out of these little aqua garden pods. I can't wait until these guys start to produce for me. It's still really early in the season, but with how early I started them, I'm hoping that quite a few of them are producing by June. The final frost date here where I live in Montana isn't until June 3rd, so these guys will get to spend some days outside until then, but will not be outside overnight until the nighttime temperature does not drop below 40 degrees for probably 4 or 5 days in a row. I have learned from previous years not to rush the final frost date and to go with what Mother Nature gives you. Probably still didn't lose too many. I probably should have done this sooner with them. My plants are definitely such a help with my mental health. I walk into my plant room and immediately I'm able to find something to be happy about. And my seedlings have made it even better. This cute trellis to crawl up. You can kind of train the plants a little bit, show them that they can stay in certain areas. There we go. Put both those labels on there. Next is going to be this little group of bush beans. Just spread them out a little bit. I know it might seem like I have quite a few bean starts, but that's just because I'm not sure what is going to survive and what isn't. Also, beans are super easy to sprout and I can start them at any point in time and I know I'll end up getting something from them. They're also a staple vegetable, which means that you can dry them out, you can can them, you can preserve them in so many different ways and save them for when you need them later on. Which is why I am growing a bunch of different kinds. That way, my dry pantry will have a large variety of beans that I'll be able to pick from next winter. I'm also going to look into canning some as well, so hopefully next fall I'll be able to get some videos out of canning and preserving as well. And these guys are gonna get this little trellis back in here. There is a good chance that I will probably move a couple of these beans out depending on how large they get. There's also a good chance that I will just add a second trellis. Bush beans can grow quite closely together, which is why they're called bush beans. They grow in kind of a bush, but I'm not sure how well they're going to do in a pot this size. So, like I said, I'm probably going to have to uproot them and put them in something larger when the time comes. I'm basically just going by what my plants need at this point. Of course, I had to add in a little segment about my apple trees. As you can see here, that they are starting to put off new leaves again. I think this is their second or third set of leaves. And they look like little baby apple trees. It's amazing to me to watch these little guys grow from a seed, and I'm so excited to see how big they can get. Right now, what I'm going to be doing is taking all of these long stakes and putting them around all of my corns because they are getting pretty lanky, as you can see, and quite a few of them are falling over. So I just want to give them that little bit of extra support. If you're going to garden, then you're going to have to be inventive. I definitely didn't know how exactly I was going to stake these tiny little corn plants, but when the idea came to me, I knew it would be a good one. Although it was a little harder than I thought it would be to wrap this wire around these little sticks. I'm guessing it's because I had nails, but it was a little bit more challenging than I thought. Along with that, the corn was also very thin and easily bent, so I wanted to be very careful with it and didn't want to damage any of the plants. I'm really excited about how much my corn did sprout because, again, this is a dry pantry staple item that you can use for so many different things. And if I'm actually able to get a good harvest from it, then I'm definitely going to try a bunch of different things. It definitely took me a little while to make all 9 of these little steaks, but I got it done. Okay, now that I have them all made, which was harder than I thought it was going to be, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of them onto each of the corn. Until it's a little bit better for that one. So corn does require a little bit more nutrients and minerals than other plants do. And if your corn isn't doing real well, I highly recommend adding some iron to your soil. Corn does have a fairly long growing season, and so I hope by starting them this early, I am able to get a good yield out of them. Unfortunately, in years past, a combination of a late last frost and a high altitude made it so that my corn did not produce hardly anything at all. I got 2 ears of corn that were roughly an inch to 2 inches long and had maybe 2 to 5 kernels on it, so definitely wasn't anything to be proud of and definitely wasn't enough to save up for the winter. Now, this is a couple different types of corn, so we'll go ahead and see how they grow differently and what I can do to make sure each of them flourish in their own way. I am also definitely going to be doing a little bit more research this year and not just going by the feeling in my gut because I want to make sure that my garden really does produce to the best of its ability. It's really important to me that I not only have the knowledge but also the ability to grow my own food and garden, which means also having the knowledge of how to preserve it and save it for long periods of time. This is also gardening on a budget. All of my seeds are either clearance or kind of old. I only bought 3 new packs of seeds this year. So we do the best with what we have and we try to get it done. And of course, this is what everything is looking like this past week. I am really, really proud of how everything is growing. And like I've said earlier, it just looks great to me. So thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode of Seedling Sunday. And if you liked it, go ahead and drop a like or a comment. And I will go ahead and catch you guys on next week's episode. Hopefully, there will be a little bit more content for you guys as the weather starts to heat up. As always, thank you for the support, and I hope you have a great week.